Welcome back to the Kimberly Lovi podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Lovi, and we are reporting live from the COVID Diaries. So, you guys, oh man, what a whirlwind this has been. I am actually recording this in bed because, well, I'll tell you why. So basically, we are all triple vaccinated here. I'm 33 weeks pregnant, but our kids are still in school and in one or two activities, but I've actually eliminated a number of activities because obviously we don't want to get this, especially if I'm in a high-risk pregnancy and kids not vaccinated, although there's a funny story to that, high-risk parents, all the things. So we've been pretty conservative, but also not on total isolation or lockdown because with this Omicron, I just realize we're going to get it. It's just a matter of when. So anyway, so Thursday, Charlotte started to sound like slightly congested, like slightly. And I'm not just saying that to minimize it. I mean, I would have normally never even thought twice about it, but just because this is all going on, I'm like, every little thing, I'm like, what's going on? And she had sneezed like once or twice, like an hour before. And I'm like, I don't like this. So I feel her. I'm like, oh no, she feels warm. And I take her temp immediately, 100.1. I'm like, oh no, take it again, 100.1. I'm like, oh my gosh. Bust out the at-home test. She does her own nose swab. So sad. She's 4 years old and this is what her life is. So anyway, long story short, you wait for for 15 minutes for the test to develop. Within 4 minutes, turns double line. It's kind of like if you're taking a pregnancy test. All of our tests to this point have been like me, holding it up to the light, making sure I don't see that second line that you're positive. But then, when you're definitely pregnant and there's no confusion, it's kind of like that. So this was like a hardcore double line. Like there was no confusion about it. So 4 minutes in, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, Charlotte, you have COVID. And she starts screaming and crying. Why does she? She starts screaming and crying because she was supposed to be celebrating her half birthday at school the next day. And she didn't want to miss the party. And she didn't want to miss her birthday crown that her teacher makes. And all the things. So I'm like, it's okay. Like, everyone's getting it. We're all going to get it. We're going to celebrate your birthday as soon as you're back. Like, it's all good. Your half birthday was 2 weeks ago anyway. Because we didn't celebrate it immediately because everyone was out sick. So I kind of waited. Well, anyway, she was devastated. So then we all proceed to take the tests. We're all negative. And I'm like, is this a sick joke? Because I kid you not, you guys, I had gotten Carter his first shot 3 hours before this happened. 3 hours. He got his first vaccine. And I only got scared into it because I was sort of on the fence about the whole thing with the kids. But then I thought, you know what? I've heard a handful of not great stories. And at this point, I feel just more comfortable having it. And then with the baby coming, I'm like, you know what? The kids are going to be a big risk factor. So I kind of begrudgingly took him for the vaccine. But I also kind of just decided that, look, there's no right or wrong here. And, initially I was thinking, well, if Omicron's not bad, I'm not going to bother vaccinating the kids. But then when I started hearing some scarier stories, I was like, okay, you know what? At this point, I just feel better doing it. So I'm just going to do it. So, but very kind of conflicted on that. And definitely no judgment to those of you that don't feel the same, for sure. I think we're all trying to figure out what the heck makes the most sense for our kids. So it's very tricky. And I think it's even trickier than the adult discussion around vaccines. So long story short, he gets his shot. 3 hours later, she's positive for COVID. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So then Brian's like, well, he can have a false positive from the vaccine. And then someone else was like, he could have possibly given it to her from the vaccine. And I'm like, I don't know. I got to ask the pediatrician. But just a bizarre situation. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, we're in lockdown. I immediately alert. I immediately called Brian first and my sister, who's a doctor. Then I immediately email the school, immediately text all the moms. Of course, I'm feeling horrible because I'm like, oh my God, these parents are going to kill us because their kids might have to stay home. And of course, there's just a lot of guilt there. And it's just like not lovely. So thankfully, only one person, like through the contact tracing process, only one person needs to stay home for an extended period with us. But I still feel horrible. I would never want to feel responsible for giving this to anybody. And, it was really weird because Carter and Charlotte, they're together all the time, except for when they're in school. And then she has one dance class that has 2 other kids in it, but we only go there once a week. And last week it was only the teacher and the one other girl, and that girl wasn't sick. So it was just really weird because they're together constantly. So you would think that Carter would be the first one to get it next, or that he would get it first and then she would get it or whatever. But anyway, the whole thing just makes no sense, as you guys already know. So I immediately start worrying and, feeling guilty. And I'm like on the mom circuit, emailing and texting, finally call the grandparents. They were like the last to know, which is normally not the case, but we had already been isolating from them because we knew this thing was so contagious and they're all so high risk that they were like, yeah, we don't feel comfortable because we can't chance being around the kids right now, which I totally respect. So thankfully they were pretty good. So that was Thursday, and then Friday happened, and Friday I was like, okay, it's just a matter of time. So I immediately start buying up all the things I was going to need to be sick, for all of us to be sick, because I knew it was going to be our turn, the rest of our turn. So got, all the vitamins and all that stuff. And then basically, Saturday morning, woke up 5:45, sore throat. I'm like, oh, here we are. And what do I do at 5:45 as a pregnant woman? 5:45 in the morning, I go downstairs and I eat matzo ball soup. So funny. And then I just started to have really, really bad body aches and took Advil, which apparently you're not supposed to be doing when you're pregnant. And I've taken way too much Advil, which is not great, but the baby's still moving. And, canceled everyone, alerted our cleaning lady. I don't think we exposed anybody besides Charlotte's class. There was very minimal other exposure. I mean, I'd called the pediatrician and they basically said 48 hours. So the only other people that she was kind of around, but not really, was the basketball people, and that's outdoor and she wasn't real close and stuff. So, but again, notified everybody. So I think we were pretty good at minimizing the contact and alerting everyone as soon as possible, which, I was thinking if these symptoms are so minimal, I bet you there's a lot of people going out and living their life or whatever, especially for the kids, or the kids are truly asymptomatic. And that's part of the reason why it's spreading so fast. So, I was telling my mom, I'm like, if we were not in a COVID world with just being on extra high alert, I would have normally sent her how she was, because she didn't even have a sniffle, not a cold, nothing. It was I was looking for it, So, that just goes to show the symptoms. When people were saying how well the kids were doing, I was kind of skeptical, but now with Charlotte, my mom didn't even believe me. She FaceTimed. She's like, okay, well, I want to FaceTime with Charlotte. She didn't really believe me either, and I don't blame her. So then she sees Charlotte, and Charlotte's screaming and having a blast and wearing her little shield and everything. And my mom's like, oh yeah, she looks real sick. I'm like, I know, it's weird. She looks completely normal. It's really bizarre. But then the adults, then I feel like I got run over by a bus. I feel just as bad as when I had gotten the the original vaccines. So, yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of that. So it's Saturday now, and just started to feel really bad again around noon. Of course, I had to like go edit a podcast because I'm like, what am I going to do? So I went and did that and published it, which was awesome. But I'm trying not to like panic now that I see that it's fairly manageable. It is scary when you're like pregnant and you have to like be mindful of the baby and like all that kind of stuff. So I will have to probably reschedule my upcoming OB appointment, of course, and then reschedule it when it's safe. And that's really it. Just doing all the things, right? Like I'm just laying in bed now. So that's kind of the quick COVID diaries over here. Brian is like freaked out, does not want to get this thing at all. He is quarantining basically away, but he also at the same time is like, okay, you're pregnant, you're more. So he was originally like stepping in, but I'm like, Brian, I'm going to get it because I was just with Charlotte for like 6 hours. Like, I mean, I'm like with the kids all the time. So he's kind of like, he's trying to minimize any risk, but at the same time, stepping in where he can and really kind of taking charge of the kids, thankfully. But I mean, I just think he's going to get it. So excuse me. So that's it. So stay tuned. And if you guys want to share any of your experiences, send them over. Got the humidifier going over here, the Tylenol, and now I'm going to have to start firing up the Netflix, I guess, even though I really don't feel like even watching anything. All right, stay tuned, guys. Talk soon. Bye.